Hello, I'm Jonathan. This is Gary. We are Chelsea Blue, and we are going to be discussing the abysmal loss against United at the weekend, which now means that we've lost five in a row in the Premier League without scoring a single goal and giving away 13 so far. And with Liverpool's victory today, that's us saying goodbye to the Champions League spot because they're 8 points ahead. Um, but I don't believe that we're going to win any of the games we've got the next. Even the FA Cup game against Leeds. Leeds looking a very spirited sight at the moment. The way things are going at the moment at the Bridge and away, because Chelsea have become very, very bad, and I'm not sure whether it's that the players can't deal with the system, don't want to deal with the system, don't want to play for the manager, can't work out what the manager wants. There are many things going on there, but what do you think, Gary?
Well, I was going to say, I think what you said yesterday, it's a whole lot of them combined, I suspect. All of those have probably come to play in this. I mean, concurrent, so we'll form in the last six games, we'd be 19th in the league at the moment. If that had been continuous for the season.
It's relegation
Yeah,
standard football.
relegation, absolutely. I mean, we can't score a goal, and we can't stop goals going in. I mean, that's the combination of disaster, isn't it?
And the trouble is, the manager will say we were very unlucky in its little moments, and they thought the focus was better, and yet we lost to I thought a very average Man United side, who I think are going to be very fortunate to have got into the Champions League.
I just
essentially scored the goal
yeah.
and then defended it for the rest of the game.
Well, I suspect. I mean, if you look at perhaps what their game plan was, I mean, first half was non-empty. Both sides were. We did, there's nothing going on until the fact that Bruno Fernandes, who's a terrific player, managed to get away from Cucurella, and Garnacho was completely a waste of time in his half-hearted challenge, which he didn't get anywhere near.
But we'll get on to that in a minute. But his general lack of interest and feeble performance contributed to the loss without any shadow.
I think so, yeah, absolutely. But I also think that Carrick probably thought, once they had the lead, he may well have thought, we haven't got a reputation in our 6 weeks games of coming back to scoring goals. So he might have thought just defend.
And also
properly.
They just waited for the mistakes and then attempted to get us on the break. As it was, it just meant that we had an enormous amount of possession, an enormous number of non-efforts. And we did hit the bar. Delap hit the bar. Fofana hit the bar, but handled it while doing so. And Estevan Willian hit the post at the very beginning, and then went off injured. And then we were subjected to the horror of the Argentinian bleep, as he was being called by his ex-supporters from Manchester United.
But they welcomed him back with open arms, didn't they?
Oh God, they so hated him. We were subjected to. It was described in the papers as a pathetic performance from Garnacho.
And I think that's a nice word.
I felt the word was perfect. It was an embarrassing kind of.
I would say
just shit show. He just gave the ball away all the time. Constantly caught in possession, failed to beat his man.
Never took man on. I don't think he ever
took a man on. No. But the worst one, if you remember, was when he attempted to take a man over, attempted to take a man on, and fell over. Do you remember that? When he actually just fell over. It was absolutely useless. He was dreadful.
I think also what was a shame in a sense, if you look at the way the game panned out, had Estavio not been injured, Garnacho got a lot of the ball on the left wing in that match. So if we'd have had a proper talented winger on that wing,
once again the manager will say, "Well, that was the problem, wasn't it?" But the sporting directors made a dreadful error when they bought him. I mean, I'm guilty. I found myself all this season thinking, well, he might be good. You never know, he might be okay. And of course, this sort of. It's not what we should be thinking about Chelsea Football Club. I found myself going into this mentality. Oh, well, the manager might be not bad. No, it should never be the case. It should be, he's a top manager. Let's see what he can provide. He's a top player. How will he fit into this lot? Not, let's give him a go. They bought Gittins, and Gittins other than his goal against Wolves,
Yes, he's
was
been injured and he's been
such a
injured loads.
disappointment. Then he spent most of the season injured, and then to have him referred to by Rossini, he's a great player. What a shame. You just think, mate, just don't make these statements.
I
Because
think,
they've bought so many players who haven't been good enough, and now the players who have been good enough don't appear to be wanting to play, or have
well, I
gotten
think most of
sunk
them,
down to a dreadful level.
and
I mean, I
also the
would say
ones
other
that
than
are good enough,
Fernandez, who I thought had a decent game actually.
he did
Fernandez
play well. He
made an
did, yeah.
effort, but other than that, Caicedo was just um, invisible, and Palmer was so utterly ordinary as to
He
be
can't hold the
embarrassing.
ball and he can't beat a player the way that we
No,
know he used to. And also, of course, what's going to happen now is with Champions League football gone, all those better players are going to be sort of, unhappy with what's going on. We've already heard stories today about Palmer sort of saying, well, if we don't, being committed to Chelsea, but then having said, well, if we don't make the Champions League, then I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So they're all going to say that.
but once
So,
again, the naivety of the owners, the naivety of the whole setup, not appreciating that if you don't get into the Champions League, you're going to cause unrest. The players don't want to be underpaid, particularly if they're on reward bonuses
yeah.
to do
And
with
well,
winning.
they lose
They'll
bonus if you don't
lose
get
all
the
of
Champions
that,
League.
but
Yes.
particularly when they're all their contemporaries, if they go and play internationals, are
Of course.
playing in the Champions League or playing really, really high class managers.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so second rate. Everything has become second rate.
it is, yeah, absolutely. But also, you'd think the owners might think to themselves, well, we've got these players under 8-year contracts. They can't go anywhere. Well, try and tell players who don't want to play for you that you've
Indeed.
got an 8-year contract.
Well, it may be that they're even showing this to an extent anyway. I think Fernandez may be on his bike in the summer
Yes,
regardless.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he'll go because he's a good player and he'll go and he'll fit into a European team very well.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of where we are now, which is probably on the worst run, depending on what happens on Tuesday, but the worst league run we've been in something approaching 80 years. I think
I
if we
think
lose,
1998 was the last time.
no, it's worse than that because if we lose 5 in a row, which is against Brighton on Tuesday, it's worse since
No,
1912.
we've lost four now. Is it not the
Yeah,
five? I've got it wrong.
if
I
we lose
said
on
five.
Tuesday night with Brighton,
Right.
it will be the
Right.
worst since 1912. So I mean, we're and you can't look at it and think where is the next goal going to come from because I can't see it. I mean, it's just
No.
and,
Well, I
you're
suppose
looking at a
he will once again. The manager would say, "Well, we're unlucky with injuries. Pedro didn't play, so." But then we were stuck with the flailing
yeah.
puppy that is Delap. I was watching the Arsenal game today, Man City, and you see that Havertz scored a goal by pressing
Yeah, I
Donnarumma
saw that. I
so
thought that.
much the ball went in the net. But Delap just veers off every time he runs towards the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
He slows down and veers to the right.
the
You
half
think,
press he doesn't. He sort of goes up and then sort of goes to the left or right of the goalkeeper and
yeah,
doesn't make a challenge. I
doesn't
don't
want to
remember
be
Havertz
doesn't
doing
want to
that
be
for us.
hit, but doesn't want to be hit by the ball.
Yes, exactly. Havertz is making a challenge because he's been told by Arteta to do it. He never did it with us.
No, never
He was
ever.
also
No,
doing half-hearted
no.
challenges as well.
Yeah, yeah. He was. Yes.
So it's the coach saying this. This is what you do. So clearly, we're not told to go in and press properly.
But
Because that,
everything is half-hearted. Everything
yeah,
is. There's no pressing going on where we're not. The dullness of the ball being just floated in all the time, or then played to the wing and back. And I was trying to every time I watch a decent side, I'm trying to watch the differences between our teams, and it's mostly the pace of the ball, of course, which is played very slowly, and also people making runs into positions where they're not just hanging back, and the ball rarely goes back to the goalkeeper. I think Arsenal did it in the last. City did it in the last few minutes just to waste time, give it to
yes.
Donnarumma.
Well, they
But
did it. I mean, actually, the Havertz goal was an example of where it went wrong. I mean, in that
yeah,
sense, that,
yeah.
I mean, and Donnarumma is not the best with his feet.
Well,
And
that was the reason I think that PSG got rid of him.
yeah, I mean, Guardiola, I think, is probably trying to avoid doing that. But that was a sort of an odd goal that they gave away because they shouldn't have played it the way they did. But
Yeah.
he's looking for more time. You don't get that.
But
That
we it's the lack of dynamism and the
yeah,
lack of also the other terrible thing is that our players aren't as good as their players,
no, that's the
aren't as
point.
committed,
Yeah.
and are so you're
I think
always going to
we've
get
all
errors from them.
I think we've all sort of thought that even our good players, we think we have some really good players. We have some good players. I'm not saying we actually have any really great players. We have players I mean, Cucurella, Caicedo are top players, but they're not playing like top players